With AEW Full Gear now in the rearview mirror, we are on the road to AEW's World's End, where it could potentially be the end of the world for MJF. We potentially could be getting a devil reveal, but we're not here to talk about the devil. We're not here to talk about MJF or Jay White. We are here to talk about one of the other big stories that came out of Full Gear last night, and that is the major signing of one of the world's best professional wrestlers, maybe the best professional wrestler in the entire world right now, bar none, and that is Will Ospreay. He is now All Elite, and Tony Khan has signed Will Ospreay to an AEW contract. Why did Will Ospreay choose AEW over WWE? What was the reason for that? We got all that plus so much more on Will Ospreay joining AEW right here on OTS. And a major update on the Young Bucks. Whether you like them or not, still a great tag team. But what's going on with the Young Bucks now? They lost their number one contendership for the AEW Tag Team Championships. They're in this transitional period. What is going on with them behind the scenes? And how are they being looked at right now in AEW? All this plus so much more for your lazy Sunday afternoon right here on OTS. Let's get into the Will Ospreay stuff. I am very pleased, very excited that Will Ospreay is signing with AEW, has signed with AEW. It was either Ospreay or Mercedes Moné, and we were not sure which one it was going to be, but as of Friday afternoon this week, a lot of finger pointing were pointing at Will Ospreay. The move happened well before Ospreay's New Japan deal was up. Now, this is a multi-year deal, according to Fightful, which is at least a 3-year period for Will Ospreay in AEW. This left many surprised considering the nature of his deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling and how that it happened. Now, Fightful confirmed that Ospreay is still under contract to New Japan and will continue to be through January of 2024. Fightful were told that Ospreay had communicated to New Japan that he was not re-signing with them, and he had their blessing to sign with AEW, who have worked with New Japan for a few years now. The relationship between both AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling allowed this new deal to be facilitated. Ospreay will still be able to work select dates for New Japan while under the AEW banner. Contract discussions between AEW and Ospreay really picked up in the early part of the fall, and AEW was very optimistic that they would be able to land him. Ospreay had previously indicated that he wished to remain in the United Kingdom as far as residence before opening up and saying that he was willing to explore all options should a move to the United States be necessary. Fightful was told that Ospreay will be able to stay in the UK as a part of this deal. Ospreay had been in LA ahead of Full Gear since last Friday, but was kept away from everyone else, despite Andrew Zarian of the Matman podcast reporting and Fightful confirming him as the signing. He arrived shortly before the pay-per-view portion of the show started, and the actual contract was not finalized and signed until the morning of the pay-per-view. The signing was teased on November 15th ahead of AEW Dynamite without the deal actually being signed. Fightful can confirm that WWE had been in contact with Will Ospreay's representation in recent weeks in an effort to gauge interest. The conversation wasn't much of a secret within the company, as they were looking to see what kind of schedule and possible relocation would happen. There was also interest from Impact TNA, although we have not learned, says Fightful, how far those talks got. Ospreay had also communicated interest in returning to TNA after appearing there recently. WWE sources that we spoke to, says Fightful, claim they had not got an official word of the signing, but figured by this week that Ospreay was AEW bound. By Friday night's Collision, several talent within AEW were openly discussing the signing. Now, Ospreay did speak to the media, quote unquote, at the Full Gear media scrum and explained his decision to join AEW. He says this, and I quote, "I've built up trust with Tony Khan. I feel I am at my best over here. I've enjoyed every time I've come over here. Right now, this is the best decision for me and my family. I'm not interrupting my kids' school. My missus can see her parents. I get to be one of the best pro wrestlers that have ever done it, and I get to do it now on weekly TV, and I get to really test myself in these waters. I'm really looking forward to testing myself, and I'm thankful for New Japan and everything they've done for me. That doesn't mean I'm done. I can still, with Tony's blessing, do some dates. It just has to be right. Sounds like it was an easy decision for Will Ospreay to join AEW. And, we all joke, oh yeah, Tony Khan bought out Will Ospreay's contract. Ha ha ha. He took Will Ospreay away from WWE before they even had a chance, or before he even had a chance to talk to them. Wasn't really the case here. A lot of people were under the impression that Tony Khan made a huge swoop in for Will Ospreay, and he wanted to get it done before WWE sank their claws into Will Ospreay, potentially losing him to Triple H and WWE. None of that seems to be the case here. It seems to be real life took more of a priority here than working for the biggest pro wrestling promotion and making the most money possible, or getting a WrestleMania main event and all that comes with WWE. It seems like real life actually took priority here. He cited the reason why he wanted to come to AEW was because not only does he trust Tony Khan, there's been a trust, that's been built there. That's very important, number one. And number two, the flexibility, the freedom. You can't put a price, in this case, on freedom. He wants his kid to finish school there. He doesn't want to relocate his missus, his wife, away from her parents. He just built, I believe he mentioned in an interview not too long ago, they rebuilt their kitchen. Something like that. Something like that to someone like Will Ospreay is very important. Who are we to say where he should go or where he's going to fit in best? The schedule here clearly is going to fit his lifestyle, so he doesn't have to immediately uproot his family to the United States, which WWE would certainly ask of him. WWE's not going to let him work the Tokyo Dome. WWE's not going to let him wrestle for New Japan. WWE's not going to let him maybe be interested in working a date or a tour with Impact Wrestling or wrestle somebody over there if he wanted to. He'd be on the road 300 days a year. He'd be away from his kid. He'd be away from his wife. He'd be away from home, living in the United States. Imagine that. You got to relocate your family to the United States, uproot everything that you know there to move here, and then be on the road 300 days a year, and then not see them on top of that. Seems like an easy decision was made here. A lot of people were like, oh yeah, Tony Khan. I even said it. I'm like, Tony Khan swooped in. He wanted to get Will Ospreay to AEW before Triple H could even have a chance to fucking talk to him. Seems like none of that took place. Seems like Will Ospreay pretty much made it clear to Tony Khan, hey, I want this. Can you do this for me? I want to be here. Let's get it done. Sign the contract. Boom, boom, boom. Tony Khan says, what do you want? Money was never an issue. Money was never going to be an issue. It's always money or creative. Will Ospreay found life and his personal life to be most important here. Everything else is going to come to him no matter what. He's going to get the pro wrestling that he wants to feed his need. He's going to get paid. He's not going to be on the road. He gets to see his family. He gets to work New Japan, whom he is loyal to. Seems like all those boxes were checked on AEW's side, and that's what makes AEW. I talk about AEW not being the alternative quite often, and that is somewhat true. But what makes AEW the alternative for those in the business who want to wrestle for a major TV promotion? This certainly makes AEW the alternative. Whether you like Will Ospreay or not, whether you hate AEW or not, all the WWE elitists looking at this saying it's not a big deal. It is. It is a huge deal. Is Will Ospreay a mainstream name? No. He's not a mainstream name. Was AJ Styles a mainstream name when he joined the WWE when he did? AJ Styles came over from New Japan. How many of the WWE fans knew who AJ Styles was when he made his debut at the Royal Rumble? Not many. But he had the trust of the fans that have known him and his body of work, and he did what he had to do to get himself over. Why wouldn't Will Ospreay be able to do that same thing when he's probably better at this age than AJ was? It is a big deal. Stop the AEW bullshit and the hate train and all this that comes with hating AEW because it's cool. This is a big deal. If you are a wrestling promoter, these geeks who think they know what they think they know, if you are in Tony Khan's shoes, why wouldn't you want Will Ospreay? Would Will Ospreay not be one of the top signings you would make, if not the top signing that you would make for your promotion? Right now, he's arguably the best in-ring worker on the entire planet. Why wouldn't you want that on your roster? Sounds like this is a big deal to me. He's going to get Wembley. He's going to be a world champion. He's going to be bigger than he ever was. No matter how you look at AEW, oh yeah, they're a second-place promotion. They're never going to be as big as WWE. He's going to be bigger than he has ever been in his entire career working for Tony Khan. And then you know what? Maybe when WWE looks at Will Ospreay again after the 3-year contract is up, Will Ospreay would be a bigger star for it. Maybe he makes the jump then. Maybe his kid will be finished with school. Maybe his wife would want to relocate. Maybe he wants to test the waters over there because he got everything he needed to out of Tony Khan. Hey, Tony, I'm going to go over here now. I want to test my limits at 33 years old and see what I could do over there. I want a WrestleMania main event. I want everything that comes with being in this business. I'm going to go over there. Tony Khan would wish him well. Why? Because Will Ospreay would have given back to Tony Khan. This is a sound move. Same thing happened with Jay White. Oh, Jay White made a mistake by going to WWE. No, he made a mistake. He made a mistake by even thinking about WWE first. He made the right decision. He joined AEW. He's going to be a bigger star for it. He's 30 years old as well. Imagine that. Jay White and Will Ospreay on your roster at 30 years old. They're not even in their fucking prime yet. Jay White made the decision to join AEW. He's going to be a bigger star for it when he finishes his run here. Then he'll be worth more, not only to himself, he's going to command more money, and he will be a bigger star that WWE would absolutely not look the other way for. AEW right now existing for pro wrestling is a huge deal. This is why it's a huge deal. Them being around gives us this type of pro wrestling. Them being around gives people like this, Will Ospreay and Jay White, performers like this, the opportunity to enhance their overall image and raise their stock. By AEW being around, Will Ospreay and Jay White are going to be able to make more money incrementally every single contract season. Tell me when I'm telling lies. This is a huge move. Congratulations to Will Ospreay. Congratulations to Tony Khan. And they just got one of the world's best. And 2024 is going to be the year of Ospreay. The Young Bucks. Apparently the Young Bucks are in this transitional period. And they lost at Full Gear to Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. No longer are they the number one contenders for the tag team championships. And are poised for a heel turn, if they haven't already undergone one in the many eyes of people watching the show. The Young Bucks, there have been plans for them to turn heel and also be joined by others around them. Fightful has learned that Brandon Cutler is at least tentatively slated to continue with the Bucks as well. At least one other personality will join them on top of Brandon Cutler. Who that may be, I don't know. The tweet that Cutler put out indicating that the Young Bucks are taking time off of wrestling is to further this story, and he'll be doing a lot of the speaking for them on screen and on social media moving forward. Those that Fightful spoke to say that the altered format of being the elite is also a part of this storyline. For those asking, things are fine between AEW and the Young Bucks, who signed new long-term deals recently, and they were mistakenly removed as EVPs on the roster page as of a couple weeks back, but that was quickly rectified by AEW. I don't know what the Young Bucks are doing. I honestly, listen, nothing against Matt and Nick Jackson. Excellent pro wrestlers. If you don't like them, they might not be your cup of tea. I think they're great. But the thing is, with the Young Bucks, I feel like it's always the same thing every single time. There's really nothing interesting regarding them in story on AEW television. And I feel with the removal of CM Punk, the whole drama with CM Punk, I think a lot of the fan base kind of looks at them a different way. And they basically were forced to change their image or change something about them after what had happened with CM Punk. And right now they're in this transitional period and fans don't know what to think. Fans don't know whether to care or not. They don't want to fully invest in them. And the Young Bucks themselves don't really know what they need to do or what they have to be. That's a tough situation to be in. Ever since CM Punk, I feel like the Young Bucks have tried to maybe alter the way fans look at them, and nothing seems to be working right now. So I don't know what's going to happen with them, but honestly, at the end of the day, it looks like time may have passed the Young Bucks by here, because no matter how you look at it, if they are in contention for the tag team titles or featured prominently on TV, I honestly feel it actually takes away from the show. I feel like they've done everything that they needed to do, and honestly, the way that I look at the Young Bucks, they're probably best served as taking a step back and letting the other teams in that division run with the ball and build around them instead of building around the Young Bucks, because the Young Bucks have already built the tag team division up the way that it needs to be. Let's give those other teams a shot to see what they can do. Anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here. Thank you guys very much for all your support this weekend and this week in general. Tremendous live stream last night. If you missed any of the live stream for the Full Gear post show with Jesse and I, go and check it out live right now on demand on the homepage. Go and check out that replay and everything else that you might have missed on the homepage. Follow me on social media on X at JD from NY206. Also on Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications and make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes this Sunday afternoon right here on OTS. Until a brand new week. Next week, guys, I'll see you live Monday night after Raw as we build towards Survivor Series and War Games. I'll see you guys on Monday.